Teresa, what on earth are you doing? I heard you took out my newborn out of the nursery without permission.
The hospital is exaggerating. Why would they immediately inform you?
Of course they'd inform me. It's the hospital's duty to report to the mother about their children.
Oh, shut up. You all don't have to blame me so much. I was just trying to take care of my granddaughter.
She was just born several hours ago. The hospital still needs to do some checkups before she can go home. Also, it's my duty to take care of this child, so you can come visit us once we get discharged.
I'll raise the child, so you can come visit me, Katie.
Huh?
There's nothing wrong about it. The royal family are traditionally brought up by nannies, right?
Even if you're in the royal family, you can choose to take care of your baby yourself nowadays. But we are just a normal family anyways. I'll raise the child myself.
What a small-minded woman.
Hi, Katie. I'm glad you're out of the hospital now.
Thank you.
I'm really sorry that my wife caused some trouble the other day.
You don't have to apologize. It's not your fault.
You must have been terribly worried about your baby. I'm so sorry.
I was very surprised that she would do such things.
Actually, a long time ago, we lost our 3-year-old daughter.
What?
I was careless, and just as I let go of my hand to press the button to cross the road, she tripped and got hit by a truck. I think that's why she became obsessed with her granddaughter.
That's why she did such a thing.
I'll talk to her and make sure she doesn't do such things ever again. So could you please let this go?
I understand. I didn't know you had a past like that. I'm so sorry for your loss. I'll be sure to visit you a lot with my children.
Thank you, Katie.
I granted you 1 year to spend time with her, so I'd like to have the rest of her time.
What are you talking about?
Of course I'm talking about Eliza. I'll raise her from now on, so don't worry.
Wait a minute. You haven't given up on Eliza yet?
How could I give up on her? I made my son marry you only for this.
What?
Haven't you wondered why a girl from a poor single mother family was able to become a business owner's wife? This is all thanks to me. I also supported your sick mother and even helped you with her funeral. Now it's time for you to give me Eliza as a token of gratitude.
No way. I'm grateful that you helped my mother in many ways, but I can't give you my daughter.
You ungrateful bitch. You've defied me not only once but twice. I'll do whatever it takes to make her mine. You better brace yourself. I did it. She has finally approved it. I've won.
What is this all about?
She started calling me Mommy. Now that she thinks of me as her mother, it's time you give her to me.
What the hell?
It's too late to get angry now. Eliza already sees me as her mother. I'm sorry that she called me Mommy before she called you so.
You have to be kidding me.
I'm not kidding. Why do you think I went to your house every day? It was to train her to call me Mommy.
Come to think of it, you were always mumbling something in front of her. So that's what you were doing.
As a result, your child chose me as her mother. All my hard work has paid off. I'm going to pick her up now, so tell her to wait for Mommy.
Don't you dare come here. Even if you come, I'm never opening the door for you.
actually have a spare key. I don't need your permission to go in.
What? But how?
My son hardly ever comes home, does he? I told him I was worried about Eliza. Then, he made this key for me so that I could go to her whenever Eliza needed me.
Oh no.
My son has always been on my side. He will do anything I say.
Even if that was right, I'm sure he would never give his own child to you.
As I said, he's on my side and he'll do anything I say. If you think I'm wrong, you can ask him yourself.
Jake, please help me. You're the only one I can rely on now.
Katie? What's wrong? What happened?
Teresa is trying to take Eliza away from me. She says that she'll raise her from now on.
She still hasn't given up on her?
I called Mike for help, but he said unbelievable things to me. He said, just give her to Mom. It's just one kid.
What?
He says his mother can't get over the fact of losing her daughter, and this is the only way to help her heal her wounds. Then, he laughed and cheerfully said we can try to make a second one if I wanted a child so bad.
Oh my God! I'm sorry, Katie. I should have told you earlier.
Tell me what?
I was thinking of calling you about something.
About what?
Actually, my wife was preparing papers for adoption. I asked her what that was about, but she said she couldn't tell me yet. Then, yesterday, Mike came to our house.
What was Mike doing there at your place?
He came to give my wife a spare key to your house. Then, I overheard them talking about something terrible. I couldn't just ignore it, so I tried calling you, but I couldn't find the courage to press the dial button.
What is it that you're so hesitant to talk about?
Now that you asked for my help, I finally found the courage to tell you. I want you to listen carefully to what I'm about to say. It's too much to text you, so I'm going to give you a call right now.
Okay. Teresa? Do you know where Eliza is?
I have no idea. She's not with me if that's what you're asking.
We were playing at the park, and I took my eyes off her just for a second, and she was gone.
She's probably playing somewhere nearby. I'm sure she'll come back.
I can't just wait here doing nothing. My child is gone. I can't stand the thought of her being hurt or abducted. Can you swear to God that you have nothing to do with her disappearance?
Of course not. You've still got a lot to learn as a mother. Panicking over something like this. Maybe you're not fit to be a mother.
If she's not with you, then I have to call the police.
What?
I'm calling the police right now.
There's no need for the police.
What if she's been kidnapped? As we're talking right now, someone might be taking her father away.
If it's kidnapping, you should be more careful about calling the police. They might demand some money or something. Eliza is the company president's granddaughter. What if they found out you called the police and do something to her?
Well, that may be true, but
I think we should wait in case someone contacts us. Yes, waiting is the best option now for the sake of Eliza.
how can you be so sure about that? What if it's not a kidnap? What if she got into an accident?
There's no way she got into an accident. Eliza is absolutely fine. I know it.
How can you be so sure with such a hypothesis? All of these stories have no proof. Enough is enough. Talking to you is a waste of time. I'm calling the police now.
Wait a minute! She's here!
What?
Eliza is at my house.
But you just told me she wasn't with you. Does that mean you kidnapped her?
Kidnap? That's not a very nice to say to your mother-in-law. I just brought my granddaughter back from the park. That's all.
Taking my child away without my permission is kidnapping. I can't believe you would do this. I will not forgive you for this.
I'm the one who can't forgive you.
Huh?
Eliza was born to be my daughter. And yet, you're always getting in my way. In order for Eliza to be happy, you should give her to me. If you had agreed to that, I wouldn't have had to take her from the park.
I will never give Eliza to you. That girl is my child.
You have no parents to support you and have no money to fight back. You can't do anything about this, so just give up.
You better brace yourself. I am gonna do whatever it takes to get my child back.
Hey, you can't be serious about getting a divorce.
I guess Mike told you about it. I'm not kidding. I'm divorcing him. And I will get custody.
Huh? Wait a minute. Why have you decided to divorce him?
Considering what you and your son have done to me, it's only natural for me to get a divorce.
You ungrateful idiot. Who the hell do you think you are? It's all thanks to me that you got married in the first place.
How dare you say that?
You owe me a favor. So give me Eliza. As long as you give me that girl, I'll have no use for you anymore. So we'll send you the divorce papers. My son is divorcing you, not the other way around. I am the one who took care of your mother. Don't forget that.
I don't owe you a thing.
What?
How dare you deceive me and my mother?
What are you talking about?
I already know everything you did. You made a deal with your son, saying you'd give him the company if he married me. And your son, he seduced me in order to get his hands on the fortune, even though he didn't love me at all.
How do you know that?
You made a deal with him. If I had a daughter, you'd take her and kick me out. If I had a son and couldn't have a daughter, you even planned to kick me out with the child.
Geez, you know that much?
That's not all. I also know why you chose me as your son's wife. It's because I had no connection with my relatives, and my only family, my mother, was near her death.
Well, that's...
You chose me because I had no relatives who would protect me, and I had no money to sue you even if you took away my daughter. You approached Mom at the hospice and heard she was worried about her daughter after her death. So you decided to target me and offered Mom that you would arrange your son to meet me and support us in our marriage. This is just insane. How could you mess with people's lives for your greed? It's sick to take advantage of people's misery and sorrow like that.
Oh well, I guess I can't hide things from you anymore.
Your husband overheard your conversation with your son and told me everything. I can't stand such people to get near Eliza. That's why I'm divorcing your son and cutting ties with you.
I won't agree to a divorce until you give me that child. Why do you think I let my son marry a woman like you?
I don't think you have time to waste on me.
Huh?
There's someone who was just as shocked as I was. He said he'll never forgive you.
Who is that? You're all alone now.
It's your husband.
What?
Your husband apologized for the awful deeds of you and your son. And he was as angry as I was. He said he's divorcing you.
Divorce? He's divorcing me?
He thinks that someone who would kidnap a child and try to separate mother and child is not fit to be an executive in a company that sells baby products.
For real? Then I'm fired?
He's cutting ties with Mike, too. He's not even going to leave him any of his inheritance.
Oh no! Then who's going to inherit our huge fortune and company?
Eliza.
Eliza alone? No way! I won't allow it.
Even if you say you won't allow it, it's the company president's decision. And once your crimes are brought to light, I'm sure the board will agree to fire you and your son.
What crimes are you talking about?
The child abduction.
Huh? I'm her family. There's no way the police are gonna arrest me for that.
You will be arrested for sure.
How do you know?
Even if you're her grandmother, if you're not the child's guardian and take her out without permission, it's considered abduction. A number of people have been sent to jail for similar crimes in the past.
Oh no! I had no idea.
That's your fault for not being aware of it being a crime. You can reflect on it in prison.
Prison? I don't want to go to prison. I'm scared.
You'll pay for what you did for the rest of your life.
I was just trying to take care of Eliza. Katie, please understand my feelings. I didn't do anything to get arrested.
It was hilarious to see my mother-in-law being arrested, who only thought of defending herself until the very end. After my husband married me for his father's assets, it seems like he was living in the homes of several lovers. So that's why he never came home. I discovered this while investigating things about him, so that I can get divorced without a hitch and charge him alimony. After her release from prison, my mother-in-law started to live in a shabby apartment with my ex-husband. She's been living in poverty, trying to pay off my ex-husband's debts. I sympathize with her, who lost her own child. But taking things from others won't make that sorrow go away. My child can never replace her daughter. I believe that the key to a happy life is to cherish what you have now.
Hey, Sandy, I just wanted to let you know that I got the package that you sent me. These fruits are just lovely. And the basket is great, too. This must have cost a fortune. You didn't have to go and spend all that money on me.
I really didn't even pay much for it, though. So many of my neighbors grow their own foods, and most of that was just gifts from them. I gave them all a little bit of money as a way of saying thanks, but the basket really cost much less than you might think.
Well, still, thank you so much. It really is a thoughtful gift. I'll have to think of how to get through all of this before it goes bad.
I really hope I didn't go overboard with all that I gave you. I'm sure that there's enough people in the house that'll all get eaten, right?
Yes, I think this should be plenty to last us a while. And since your brother and his wife are here living with us, I'm sure we'll have no problem eating all of this fruit.
Well, as long as you think that everyone will enjoy it, that's all that matters. By the way, they've already been living there for about 2 months, right? How's that going?
It's going quite well, thank you. At first there were some bumps along the way, but I think we've settled into a good routine now.
Well, that's good to hear. But still, I bet you must have been surprised when Gary asked to live with you all of a sudden. You didn't have to say yes to him, you know.
Well, I didn't really have a reason to say no. Besides, Gary assured me that it would just be a temporary thing.
Did he really say that to you, Mom?
Yes, he said that he wanted to save up money to buy a house and that it would be much easier to do so if they lived with me for a while.
I see. Well, I sure hope he's right about that. But I just hope that you remember you're allowed to say when enough is enough. You seem to be enjoying living alone after Dad passed away.
There was a lot of joy out of living alone for the first time in a few decades, yes. But it is just so nice to have my son and his wife over, and I've been enjoying the company. And I think many of my neighbors are relieved to know that I'm living with someone again, just in case anything were to happen to me.
Yeah, I suppose that is a good point as well. To be honest, I was a little worried about you living all on your own as well. I just hope that Gary really meant what he said. Sometimes I worry that he's just being a cheapskate and looking for ways to not have to spend money.
Do you really think he would be using me just for that?
I can't say what Gary is thinking for sure, but I do know that ever since the business he tried to start failed, he's been asking for money from several people. And that's not even talking about the second business he tried to start after Dad died and Gary got his share of the inheritance. But that one was also over almost as soon as it started. I just don't know how he managed to make the same mistakes twice.
That's true, but Gary has a job now. And for a company that already exists, I think that he's really changed since getting married.
I really hope so. But just remember that you can tell him now. I know that you always want to be there for us when we need you, but it's okay to have your boundaries too.
Thank you very much, Sandy. It makes me happy to know that my daughter is thinking of me so much. Especially considering the fact that you must be so preoccupied with being pregnant.
Well, I just saw a doctor last week and he said that there was nothing to worry about. So don't you go worrying about me yet, okay, Mom? Anyways, I have to go to another appointment, so I'll talk to you later, okay?
Sounds good, Sandy. I hope the appointment goes well. I also have some housework that I need to attend to. I hope you get home safely.
Hey, Sandy, do you have a second to chat real quick?
Sure thing, Gary. What's on your mind? I feel like I don't usually hear from you.
Yeah, well, there's just something I wanted to talk to you about, if that's alright.
I'm sorry, Gary, but I don't have any money to give you.
That's not what I was talking about, and why do you automatically think that that's what I was gonna ask you about, huh?
Well, because 9 times out of 10, it usually is.
You really know how to grind my gears, you know that?
Well, you're already on thin ice with me since you basically forced Mom to take you in. I know that you're just taking advantage of how kind she is, Gary.
That's not fair! I have a job and I'm not getting in anyone's way or trying to do anything.
So then, you're contributing to paying for the groceries and utilities and things like that?
I mean, I am a bit, yeah.
A bit? What's that supposed to mean?
You asked if I was paying and I said I was. Jeez. If anything, you should be thanking me for moving in with Mom. You don't live anywhere near here and it's my wife and I who are looking after her now.
You're right, that does make me a little less nervous about Mom, although it does add its own anxieties about it too. And if I wasn't pregnant right now, I would be visiting home a lot more often. I'd want to see for myself that things are going well between everyone there.
I can't believe this. I can't believe that you're going after my wife now, too.
And just what is that supposed to mean?
Well, this is what I actually wanted to talk to you about. The truth is that Mom has been really bullying my wife, Eve.
What? No way! Mom would never ever do something like that.
I'm telling the truth. Why else would I be reaching out to you if it wasn't something that was really bugging me?
Well, I just can't see Mom being mean to anyone without reason. There's no way she's just bullying Eve.
I thought the same way. I had never even imagined that Mom had this side to her. But after we moved in, it was like watching the cute little dog that you've known for years get rabies or something.
Did you seriously just compare our mom to a dog with rabies?
You weren't here. You haven't seen all the things that I have. For example, just recently, you sent us that basket of fruit, right?
Yeah, I did. What does that have to do with anything?
Well, Mom told Eve that she wasn't allowed to have any.
But that doesn't make any sense. There was so much fruit, there's no way she could eat it all on her own.
She gave me a portion of it and then handed the rest to her neighbors. But Eve really likes the kind of grapes that were in that basket, and Mom knows that and didn't give her a single one.
Well, that's definitely odd, and it doesn't sound very nice. But I'm not sure I would call that bullying.
Well, that's one example of the many awful things that she's been treating Eve. Don't tell me that you're just gonna ignore it because it's Mom.
I didn't say that I was ignoring anything. But the mom that I know wouldn't do something like that unless she had a good reason to. I'm just confused is all.
But we've only ever seen the good side of Mom because we're her kids. The way she treats other people is just horrible, though. Are things not like that with you and your husband?
No, not really. I get along great with his parents, actually.
Well, that's probably just because you aren't actually living together like we are, right?
I'm not sure if that's the reason why. Anyways, I guess I can always just ask Mom herself about what she thinks about it all.
No, please don't do that.
What do you mean? I thought you were coming to me because you wanted help with Mom.
No, that's why I messaged you. I want to handle this by myself. I just wanted to know if you had any thoughts about what I could do to take care of this problem.
Are you sure you can handle something like that?
I think that if you were able to get involved, that Mom would start treating Eve even worse, and then that would be all your fault. Plus, Mom would just be mad at all of us if she found out that I came to you about all this.
Well, if that really happens, then I'll take your side and tell me what she's doing is wrong. But I just really can't accept that she's acting the way she is towards Eve for no reason. I just want to get to the bottom of this.
And you think that if you ask Mom, she'll confess right away?
I think it's only fair that I hear Mom's version of events regarding this, don't you?
Ugh, I don't even know why I bothered coming to you for help with something like this. Just don't say anything about this to Mom at all, okay?
Wait, are you serious about all of this?
Look, you don't live at home anymore, so you don't know what it's like. All I'm asking is for you to keep your mouth shut about this for a little bit, okay?
I understand that, but you were the ones who asked if you could move back in. You realize that, right? And if Mom really is bullying Eve, I'm not exactly sure how much I'm gonna be able to do from here anyways.
I knew that I never should have said anything about this to you. I thought you might be able to help me, but I should have known that you would just take Mom's side on this no matter what. Just promise me that you're not gonna say anything about this to Mom, okay?
Hey, Gary, what is going on over there? I heard you kicked Mom out of her own house. What happened?
Of course I kicked her out after all that she's been doing.
Is this all about her not getting along with Eve?
She wasn't just not getting along, she was really bullying my wife.
Well, I went and asked Mom about it, and she said that she had no idea what you were talking about.
Well, of course she would say something like that to you.
I'm sorry, Gary, but is there any way that we can meet and talk about this in person? Because you can't just kick Mom out of her house and leave her with no place to stay. I mean, you were the ones who moved in with her in the first place.
Well, she should have thought about that before she treated Eve the way she did. If she couldn't see that this would result in her getting kicked out, then that's her problem. And I still can't believe that you're taking her side over ours in all this.
I really just think that you're taking this whole thing too far and that you're going to regret this.
Oh, really? Is that what you think? And just who am I going to end up regretting this? If anyone is regretting anything, it's probably Mom for all that she did to Eve. I mean, we're kind enough to move in with her and give her some company, and she treats us like crap.
Well, I offered to talk to Mom about this for you, didn't I? You didn't have to go and do something this drastic.
Wait a second, is Mom there with you right now?
She is, actually. After you kicked her out, she asked if I had any room for her at my place.
Well, fine then, you have Mom and she has a place to live, so everything is fine. And you said you get along with her in-laws, so I'm sure that they'll be happy to have her, right?
You really have no idea the mess that you've made for yourself, do you?
I don't see how you can say that when we're the ones with the house. Mom should be ashamed of herself for acting the way she was acting. I never want her to go near Eve ever again.
I see. So then there's really no way that we're all gonna be able to sit down and talk about this then?
I can't see that happening anytime soon now. But you should send someone down or come down yourself to get Mom stuff. And if you don't do it soon, we're just gonna throw it all away anyway.
You seriously need to stop acting like this, Gary. You literally kicked our mom out of her own house. You don't even own the place where you're staying.
Well, I'm the oldest child, so this house is gonna be mine eventually anyway. I just hurried up the process is all. You don't have the right to tell me anything. Hey, Sandy, what the heck is going on? Why did your husband and some real estate agent guy just show up to my house?
I'm not sure what you mean. What seems to be the problem with that?
Well, the real estate agent guy was talking about the house being sold, but is that true? I had no idea about any of this, and I want answers.
Well, the owner of the house is Mom, right? So Mom can do whatever she wants with the house.
But my wife and I are living here. What the heck are we supposed to do?
Leave the house, probably. I mean, it's not like you can have any legal say in what can be done with the house anyways.
Well, sure, but Mom could have at least talked to us about this a little bit before going off and selling the place.
And just why should she have to talk to the people who stole her house from her in the first place?
But the only reason I kicked her out in the first place was because she was bullying Eve. I had a good reason to do what I did, and Mom doesn't.
Even if Mom was bullying Eve, you two are still gonna have to leave her house no matter what.
But why? That isn't fair at all. We didn't even do anything wrong.
It doesn't matter one way or the other. Mom owns the house and she can do what she likes with it. That's just how the law works. You tried to kick her out of her house, forgetting that she has the final say in what happens to it. If you were worried about your wife getting bullied, then you should have moved out and found a place to live.
But that still isn't fair. Why should Eve and I have to do anything when it was Mom who was acting the way she was?
Do you still not understand that you're asking the wrong person the wrong questions?
Okay, fine. Go ahead and tell Mom that she can move back in with Eve and I.
Are you serious? You really think that Mom is gonna come back after all this?
Tell her that we're willing to talk and work something out, and that maybe Eve and I took things a little far.
That is not going to be enough to get Mom to move back in with you.
And just what makes you say that, huh? I'm not asking for your opinion, I'm asking for you to pass a message on to Mom.
But you told me that I should just take Mom in and leave the house to you two. Besides, I already know that Mom wasn't doing any bullying of any kind.
And just what makes you say that, huh?
Because I know that instead, it was you and Eve who were bullying Mom this whole time.
Why would you say something like that? Do you have any proof of this at all?
Do I have any proof that you and Eve were bullying Mom? No, I do not. But Mom has plenty of it.
What do you mean?
I mean that you thought you would have had Mom wrapped around your finger and that she would let you get away with anything. You even made her pay for all the groceries and utilities, all while making her clean up the house by herself.
No, that isn't true, and you still haven't shown me any proof.
Oh, right, the proof. Well, you know how Mom is always looking forward to getting a new phone, right? Anyways, since she knows how to use them, she has plenty of recordings of you saying all kinds of horrible things to her. She showed them to me, and now I know all about how you've been treating her.
But I only said the things I said to her because she was so mean to Eve.
And do you have any proof of that, Gary?
No, I don't, but...
Well, then I guess I have no proof but to take Mom's word over yours, huh? If anything, the fact that you both are still living in Mom's house is all the proof that I need. That was always what you were after, wasn't it? That's why you wanted to move in, to kick Mom out?
Gosh, you're wrong! You don't even know what you're talking about!
Then why is it only after you realize that the house is being sold that you ask for Mom to come back and live with you two? Do you really think I wouldn't be able to see right through that? Well, Mom has no intention of letting you get away with this at all.
So then, she's really actually selling the house.
That's right. And that means that you two should start packing your things. You'll have until the end of the month until the place needs to be empty.
So, we don't even get a whole month?
I don't have all the details, I'm just telling you what Mom wanted me to pass on. And don't forget, you were the ones who accused her of all the things that she never really did.
Well, tell her that I'm really sorry for everything, okay?
So you admit to bullying her out of her own house?
Yes, it's true, but the truth is that I'm in some financial troubles right now.
I figured as much, actually. It was obvious when you were so intent on taking the house all for yourselves.
I know I shouldn't have done that, but I just thought that if I could use Mom to save some money that I could get myself out of the debt.
And you had to kick her out to do that? Well, now you've gone too far.
Why can't I reach Mom's phone? I just want to talk to her.
That's Mom's way of telling you that she wants nothing to do with you anymore.
Please, I'm her son. She has to talk to me.
You used Mom up until she couldn't stand it anymore. This is what you deserve.
Sandy, please, you know that I didn't want any of this to happen. So you have to tell Mom that I'm really sorry. I just need one more chance and some money.
I don't want anything to do with you either, so you can just save it, Gary. After that, Gary and Eve stayed in our mom's house as long as they could until they were finally forced out. My husband called in a favor with a friend who owned a moving company. Suddenly, there were 5 burly guys standing outside my mom's house, all taking Gary and Eve's things and stacking them up in the yard. They forced Gary and Eve to hire them, loaded up their boxes, and those two were never seen again. I heard later that Gary had declared bankruptcy and never heard from him again. My mom and I also made the effort to not keep up with any news regarding Gary and Eve. Not long after that, I finally gave birth and was really grateful to have my mom around the house to help out. We did end up finding her her own house, however, and she enjoys living alone again. Her new house is close enough that we can always go over and visit, and she's welcome at our place anytime.